Look at you. Look at you. What are you doing?
This is how you pet your kitty and love your kitty.
Oh, yes,
Aw,
it is.
baby. Oh, by the way, Joe, eat shit. Bye. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
And this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so we knew what that means. Half and half. We don't usually have it in the house, so just half and half and coffee. It's very good. For some reason, it tastes like hot chocolate. I don't know. So I hope everyone's well. I hope everybody is safe. Look after yourselves. Look after each other in these, do what you can. So today we are going to be revisiting our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantal, Chantopoulos, the Chantal Show, and now Foodie Beauty again. So, if you've been watching this week, there were some interesting developments. I'm trying to put the smokiness out of Smokey Steve right now. We'll talk about last week, what we kind of cruised through. We talked about ghosting, him doing it versus her doing it, and how it's acceptable for one and not the other. Makes no sense. Payday was last week, so Mommy Warbucks, it seemed like she was blowing through some money, and then now we've just been at home sad. Videos are not about viewers anymore. We are talking to Nads, or we are talking to family members. We are not talking to the VIBs or anybody over here. And who's pulling the strings in the relationship, which I'll revisit again. Who's got the power in the relationship? Does it matter at this point? So today we're going to look at, they're off and on. This week, not to put too fine a point on it, but she was off and on him about 850,000 times. And it was back and forth. We'll talk today about strikes, because there's been some strikes, discussion of strikes, shots fired. I don't know. And there's some other folks pulled into it that I don't think, it's the obvious one you would think is Chantal doing all that, but nah. Again, losing grip on her gentleman. Who might be her gentleman now? It is about 2:30, and if we go till 10, he might not be, but then by tomorrow morning, he is. And they're eating nashies in his room. BBJ, the cat. Are we all familiar with the fact that BBJ deserves dignity and respect? And that there is a little evidence of him actually being hurt from testimony of the person who was there, who then tried to backpedal it. And Karate Joe. We'll mention Karate Joe a little bit. Joe. Oh, you probably can't see this. At any rate, so off and on their relationship. So it goes. This week, like I said, a number of times they not broke up and got back together. Everything that comes out of his mouth is short of reconciliation. He kind of talks like, shut up and leave me alone or I'll blow up your spot. That's kind of where he leaves it. It almost sounds like a tinge of blackmail in there somewhere. But, she's trying to, keep it on the low, that she's not seeing him. But she is. An example, the day she had a therapy appointment. Now, this therapy appointment is by phone. It's by phone, until she starts putting on lipstick and doing her hair. Then all of a sudden, it's supposed to be a video appointment. Because I always pick myself up like Moulin Rouge to do phone appointments. Then it's a video appointment, I forgot to say. Then afterwards, we find out it was a phone appointment after all. It was never going to be a video appointment. All of this was for something else. This was for him, I believe. And I don't know what kind of women he likes. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She puts on, I think, a decent face of makeup. Filters help, but they help all of us. I'm not using one right now. We just have an old phone. It's the better way to get around it, I think. So, this is so kind of sad and predictable and awful. What's been going on? It's so close together, it's hard to even call it a cycle in the relationship. She'll, open her mouth one day, close the next. I need to not talk about the relationship. And then there's a blow up where I need to worry about me and do me and you don't own me and all that stuff. And then 2 hours later, she'll get a text that makes her feel lovable and she'll drive her ass over there and they'll have snacks and do whatever, and then he's like, okay, get out. And that's love. So I don't know. She says she loves him. What? What do you love about him? How do you love thee? Count the ways. And it's kind of a double-edged sword with him getting more attention at this point too. You reap what you sow. She helped him get a chat or get YouTube and open up a channel. He is now monetized. I'm looking at this and it's between 4,500 and 5,000. That's pretty quick growth for a channel that has content. I think he's more of a name under people on her channel. I don't know about mass appeal, but people like weird things. There's very weird channels with a whole lot of subs. So, you don't know. Asking VIBs for support and then 2 days later cussing everybody out. This is a hard thing to follow. This is a hard thing for people to do. If I invited all of you guys, hello everybody, and I see you, Pete's. I see you, Pete's. You're having a hard time. It's okay. And I loved your little dig about not liking Natter. I don't like him either. And I think that he should go out with Charlie Gold, and then she should dump him because she could even do better than this anyway. Asking the VIBs for support and then 2 days later telling him to screw off, people get sick of that shit. Real sick of it. And then especially when it came into BBJ, there was a drop in about 300 subs on her channel just within the last few days. It's weird because it almost gives the impression that people were more upset about her cat getting hit than her. Her views had steadily gone up since the abuse in the relationship. The relationship that was abusive in every way escalated and got quicker, and these breakups are getting closer together. There's more days this week we were broken up than not. That's not normal. That's not even close to normal. That's not an adult approach to relationships. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, she's about 2 years younger than me. And I used to play relationships like that when I was in my early 20s because I came out late. So I started adulthood a little bit later and dating later. And when I was 18, now you got to understand, when I was 18 or 19, it was AIM Instant Messenger and you leave your message up so everybody can see and you have a cool quote underneath. So it was very different. You didn't have immediate access to people all the time. When you left a message for someone, it was understood that you didn't have a phone. And if you weren't near one, you would leave a message and wait. Now we don't wait. We wait 30 seconds and then we start calling people and GPS tracking and snooping into their private accounts and all this other stuff. Just relax. Relax. So, let's see. The ones who aren't afraid of upsetting her, so when she flips back after we're in love, moonlight and roses, whatever, they're the ones in the chat who will say, do you remember 36 hours ago when this wasn't going well and you were going to break up with him? If they bring that up when she's in a good mood, then they're blocked, they're agitators. I don't deserve to be happy. Don't you believe in second chances? We are way past second chances at this point. But, that's the kind of thing she'll go on. And then people who, when they break up, and she'll say, it just wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't this, wasn't that. You can't possibly agree with every single solitary decision every single solitary person makes. That is not helpful. That does not provide direction or anything. So, I don't know. Anyway. This is boring. Even the cop stuff. The cops came again. And it was still boring. Now, apparently when they came to her house this week, they came allegedly because somebody had called, because in the previous video the night before she said a lot of actionable stuff. So the cops come by, and what she says to the camera, because she was in a live when they came, is, I have to be right back from some stuff I said in the video last night. I have to go and talk about it. So she goes and talks and then comes back later and eats something and talks in a live and alludes to the fact that she had to fill out some paperwork, a report. She didn't really seem too clear on what she was doing. I don't believe she was legally obligated to have to do that, but she's in Canada. I'm not going to stick my face in Canadian laws, and I'm not going to read a bunch of them just to see if she's standing on firm ground, because as much as I actually do like Chantal, I kind of don't care what happens to her when she's making reckless decisions, because how could you? You'd be burned out. You'd be so burned out. So, the concern with Natter, I'm doing better this time, is that if she fills out police report, which she already did, he is in the community, but under the supervision of the state, province, country, whatever, because he had some previous crimes. So we're gonna. She could put him in a compromising position if she brings his name up and puts it on paperwork. It could be a violation of his current conditions and could lead to bigger consequences for him. We shall see. Uh, I don't know. Is she that vindictive? Yeah. Chantal's really vindictive, and he doesn't seem to like women. He likes women, but he doesn't like women, if you know what I mean. He doesn't seem to have a high respect for females for whatever reason. He seems to treat people poorly and then want them to genuflect. You know, I don't like him either. Pete's, I agree with you. Never mind. So yeah, even with the police coming, it's so old because that's happened so many times too. So after she revealed something in the live last night about his behavior, I still don't care. Until one of them leaves in cuffs, it's the same old, same old. Something's going to have to escalate for something to happen. However, I have said, and many have said the same thing with her health and her morbid obesity. Until something bad happens to her, she's not going to change. A lot of bad things have happened to her already, and she hasn't changed. So it goes with this relationship. She's not going to change until something bad happens. And I don't know what her threshold of bad is, because she can rationalize anything. Someone, puts a cat off the bed with a foot firmly, and in one scenario hurts them, and in another just shoved them off the bed with their foot. It depends how angry we are at Natter that day. Whether we want to smear him all over the place because he hurt the cat, or we want to defend him for gently pushing a cat off the bed and blame people for coming at him needlessly. So, I don't know. So, strikes. Strikes were going on a lot this week. There was a couple people who aren't exclusively Chantal reactors, but had before, who disappeared from the scene. Chantal was talking about striking, and everyone better be on guard because the strikes are flying, and then she backed down on that because she said she doesn't have time to do it. She'll free up plenty of time to rant and rage about someone doing a reaction, and she has struck people in the past. I imagine she's taken it back because you issue too many false strikes. They start to pile up back on you, and that don't look good. So I think she's probably cautious with that. She is prone to striking, but I think the strike that happened, the one with French Fry Girl, okay, and as I said to you guys, it's becoming challenging to keep up with every channel that has an interaction with Chantal because we don't just make videos anymore, we just yell at each other between lives. So that's, it's hard to get through all of that. And then all the other social media where they continue to be mean to each other. Sometimes for what I think are good reasons, sometimes not. I don't know. So the striking that happened, French Fry Girl and I believe Shannon weren't alive. A very well attended live, and it was Shannon speaking about her truth, answering some questions and not others in a respectful way. I thought you can have opinions about the channel that she was on, but I thought Shannon carried herself in a very comfortable way. She wasn't looking out just to talk shit, but she wasn't going to be fibbing according to her either. She wasn't going to lie. So in the middle of that, the stream goes out. And there's another live going on at the same time, and it's Negs and I believe Chantal, and they're talking, but there's not as many viewers in there. There's only 500 or so. So a strike all of a sudden is initiated against French Fry Girl, and that channel goes down. Within a few days, or maybe a couple days before, Ms. Huzzy, who many of you maybe knew as Miss Glory Gloria, that channel goes away. And then Neg's channel disappears too. Now, from my sleuthing and sticking my nose where it certainly doesn't belong, I did a little bit of looking around. Now, there's other people who had hard-ons for Negs and Ms. Huzzy, just because, Negs was talking with her, and Negs has a reputation of his own, or had. He'll probably be back in some form. He had a reputation of his own that wasn't particularly good. Earned or unearned. I didn't care to watch too many of his videos. But he's got a reputation, and it follows him. Again, you can rebrand yourself if you want to, but he seemed to be pretty happy with the way he was and wanted to share that with the world. So he disappears, and Miss Huzzy disappears. But the folks who were trying to do things with them, obviously I would think, well, Chantal, they talk shit on Chantal. They don't like Chantal. She must have said something she didn't like, and kaboom, kaboom. But the other folks working against them, the Hater Nation folks, who there's like a clique that if they don't like you, they dive in. The other reaction channels were kind of saying mass flagging was going on. That the people who wanted to get Negs and Miss Huzzy off were coming in and going onto other platforms like Discord and saying to mass flag these channels to try to bring them down. I don't know. So in the circle of Chantal, but not as much to do with her. So oh, guys, come on. Can somebody do a video, please? Anybody. I mean, for Christ's sake, Chantal did one. She's doing Vlogtober. Granted, it was like 11:57 when she posted for October 1st. But she made it, almost. It's not going to last past the 6th. I really don't. God bless you, Chantal, but you're not going to make it. You're not. And it's not a disappointment because I didn't have high hopes. So, you know, I'll be curious to see what the first 6 day brings.
It's all about expectations.
So,
and we've lowered ours.
I've lowered mine quite a bit. Just a word of caution on striking, because again, we're low on the food chain. We have a smaller channel, and also, you know, we don't do content that's offensive generally, or deliberately. So I'm not too worried about us getting struck as much. But if you're playing around with content that's other people's, if you're dealing with giving people copyright strikes that are unjustifiable, don't play fast and loose with that, because that comes back. You know, YouTube isn't... We talk about YouTube like it's a person in a chair somewhere going like this, but YouTube isn't dumb, and it'll flesh those things out. You can make it fair use or transformative, I suppose. Shrink the screen, add some music, add some commentary, you know, something like that. It doesn't take much, fortunately or unfortunately, to transform a video into something that you can see. You know, you can play half an hour of another person's video, give 3 minutes of commentary, and call it your own. Right? Wrong? It is what it is at the moment. So, Foodie Beauty's loss of control in this situation. Her upper hand is money, which she seems to go in and out of having. I would think it would be like the week of the 20-something. She'd have money and she'd spend it either on herself or on him. She'd do a shopping spree. She'd get a bunch of stuff from, you know, Shein or wherever, and it would be for her. She hasn't been spending as much time with him, at least not overnight, because she's doing these friggin' streams in the middle of the night. Doesn't seem like she's spending it on him either. Other previous, you know, months, she'd get the money, and Big Mama was on the roll, and she's gonna dress him up and, you know, put him in a new tracksuit, and they're gonna cook, and they're gonna go paint their own rainbows, and blah, 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 blah. So it looks like she has the upper hand, because he looks like a kept man in many ways. But what she did, which maybe not a good decision, got his own channel, which gives him a megaphone that he can monetize and get things for. Now, if anyone has some dirt on Chantal, it's probably him, because she thought they were in love. So she either told him a bunch of terrible lies about herself, which are outrageous and unbelievable, or she told him some version of the truth, which don't piss him off, because he's got a voice now, and people are ever so eager to hear what he has to say, and probably eager to send him boob pics. It's the name of the game. It is what it is. And how are you going to come down on him for talking to other girls if you're going to open an OnlyFans and spread it long and lay it live? Like, that's not... I mean, if he's going to say things on the internet that, you know, upset your relationship, did you ask him how he'd feel about that? Or does it not matter? Because on this particular day, I don't care about his opinion, but tomorrow I will. So we'll just cherry pick things here that I'm deciding he should or shouldn't be upset about. Granted, now put this under, you know, take it with a grain of salt, that I don't like Nat or Worth. Nothing redeeming about him. Absolutely nothing. The food doesn't look that great. He gives one-word answers. I don't think he treats women well. He looks reptilian. There's so many other things about him I just don't care for. So again, she's losing control in the situation because she's given him control in another way that's getting out of hand for her. She can't control how many subs he has. She can't control who he talks to in the DMs. She can see, because a scumbag like that would show her all the time, which of course is meant to make her feel insecure, needy, gracious to be with him, because look at all the other women I could have. You know, she plays reindeer games. She doesn't get out of jail free for that, so to speak. But at the same time, he could be a dirtbag too. You know what I mean? In one school, people might say, well, they're perfect for each other. They like playing games, they like manipulating people, and they're only hurting each other at the moment. In some ways, I think that's true. Chantal has a bigger outflow of people, though. I don't know much about Nader's circle. He has a couple roommates, and then, like, that woman that sleeps on the stairs. But besides that, who is in his circle that's affected? Chantal has a family. Chantal has friends, you know, and this is Chantal's gig, her full-time job, and she's playing games with dude who could disclose information that could really affect her job. And she gave it to him. He didn't go hunting for it. You know, Kiwi Farms does the hunting, but Nader just has it and he could share it. So, and he's threatened as much a few times. So don't get mad in his way. The other alternative could be that he's just playing back and forth with her. They're playing off each other on their sites, and she'll say things to him, and he'll say it to her, and it creates drama and gets views for both. Views for him and views for her. I don't know what's worse, gaslighting domestic violence, or it actually happening and her going back to him every few days. Is faking something like that the bigger crime, or is it actually happening, going along with it, using it for content? I think whether it is or isn't happening, using it for content is, maybe if she's gone through it, healed, and a year or two has passed, she'd have some distance and perspective to talk about it. But you have a fight last night and you guys make up today. There's no perspective about it being an abusive in every way relationship. You're only 12 hours out of it. You know, if you can't go more than 36 hours without some boundaries, then you may need help setting boundaries. You know, mine? No, I'm not that guy. But somebody, anybody, somebody to give you a hard look in the face or at your phone and say, this is not normal. This is not healthy, and you are not happy. 4 days out of the week, you are miserable. So miserable, you're stoned out of your mind. You can lie to yourself all you want, but you're not happy. You know, whatever helps you sleep at night, honey. But, you know what? If you're unhappy with him talking with other women, cut your losses, bury his laundry, and get on with it. Get on with life. This, I love him stuff. You know, it's you're gonna love him to death. You know, just to death. We have pumpkins in the garden that are older than that relationship. So, again, the backfire. He's got a megaphone now. He's got his own channel now. And people who'd be willing to watch to hear dirt about her. You know, and of course she could say it's lying and it's not true. But she's thrown lies out about him. She'll go see him and lie to her audience and then say, well, if I want any privacy, I have to lie. No, if you don't want any negative feedback, you have to lie. You could very easily tell the audience that you're going to his place. Why would you lie if you had nothing to be ashamed of? Why would you lie if there was nothing wrong with it? And we're having only member streams, so you're only getting the people that want to pay for your company who are still questioning your decisions. Those are supposed to be the ones who got your back, who've got their $5 a month in there and like you more than most. Or at least financially can show you that they like you more than most. And they're still questioning the situation. If they're still questioning the situation, and those are the ones that were supposed to be tight with you, you know, check in. Things don't look like they've been too good, though, on the moderator side. Not so good. Especially with, well, we'll talk about it in a second. Okay, BBJ being abused. Okay. Her cat, BBJ, BB June, it's got another name, is 19 years old and adorable. It's an adorable cat. 19, it's like 100,000 years old in cat years. It's old, like 100 and something, okay? I always thought somewhere deep down Chantal was actually a decent person because despite her behaviors, she didn't talk to her cats politely, but when she'd swoon with them and talk with them, and the cat's 19 and it's been with her that long. I mean, that cat's been with her through BB, through James, through Pete's. So she's taken some care of it for it to be alive that long. But at the moment, people had concerns. And what jumped through as a big concern was that the cat, allegedly, BB, was on the bed with Chantal and Nader. And Natter didn't care for the fact that BB Jones was on the bed and removed BB Jones from the bed. Now, how did that happen? So, in Chantal's version, he heard her and, like, essentially kicked her off the bed. You know, she didn't say kicked. This has gaslighting all over it. But her exact word was that he hurt her and scared her. Hurt is hard to walk back because hurt is hurt. So, Chantal's words that he heard it. Then later, Chantal's were, you know, no one hurt BB Jones. So, which one is the lie? They both can't be true. They both can't be true. And this is too obvious to gaslight. There's no way to talk around that and say, well, yes, I said that he heard him, but I didn't really mean he heard him. How do you misconstrue that? You know, how do you? If Mark and I were on the bed, let's say we were a new couple, and Bandit was mine. And Mark and I were laying on the bed, and Bandit was too. And Mark didn't like Bandit being on the bed, and with his foot shoved Bandit off the edge of the bed. The next thing going off the edge of the bed would be Mark. You know, that cat, my cat, means more to me than 6 naders. So, no, I would not put up with that. I'm much closer. Like I said, that cat's been with her through thick and thin, through boyfriends, through moves, through meltdowns, has, you know, probably consoled her through fake crises and real crises and all sorts of stuff. And it was just a very relaxed attitude that she had towards him not being kind to her animal. Maybe I'm just overprotective. Maybe it's me. I'm a little more emotional. It's my first pet, but, you know, whatever. And of course, people will call animal control because that's it. I remember when it happened at least once to Amberlynn Reed. And I was trying to get into her at that time, but that's such a soap opera. I can't go back and do with Amber what I do with Chantal. It would take too many years to catch up. Years to catch up with Amberlynn Reed. But I remember animal control was called to her place once. And they came over and looked at her dog to see the length of the nails and to look at her cat to see if she was shredded. And of course, Amberlynn said they gave her a glowing approval and practically gave her like the Congressional Medal of Honor for pet treatment when they left. So another one you can't really believe what she says. So people, I assume, probably would call animal control because that's what people do. You do. I don't like her. She might be mean to her pets. Well, you can't get the truth out of that because she told 2 lies. One of them's a lie. And based on credibility, which one do we believe? You know? So, like I said, unless she was exaggerating to Natter to try to make him feel bad or put some bad info about him out there, or she was lying to everybody, one of them is not true. One of them is not true. And now she's backpedaling because she nerves him. So the bottom line for that part would be, don't touch my effing animals, okay? And if you're around my cat, I can tell how my cat acts around you and how you act around my animals, what kind of person you are. Not entirely, but definitely in part. If my cat comes up to you and walks right past and doesn't want anything to do with you, that's a tell. That's a tell. So, just saying. Again, with the bottom line, don't play games, and if you do, be mindful that you might lose. You know, if you play reindeer games with putting out content here and back and forth here, and then they're in a live, and then this is what I'm saying, but 2 days later I'm taking it back, but then 3 days later I'm saying I shouldn't have taken back what I'd forgiven before. I need to work on me. We're in the I want to work on me part of the cycle at the moment. She concedes to having a cycle because it's part of the cycle of the eating disorder. Chantal really likes having disorders that absolve her of responsibility for her behavior. Any disorder that has lack of impulse control, she's got. Because then it buries responsibility. It shouldn't. The responsibility is on her to take care of herself and be well. But if she doesn't feel like doing that, she can check off a list of any certain mental health condition that justifies, I'm depressed, so I'm not leaving the house. My eating disorder is not going well. 2 or 3 nashies. My depression's bad, can't clean the room. There's always, I'm manic, so I'm hyper. She doesn't have bipolar. She hasn't been to a shrink. She just makes it up and then calls it that. Try Coke. How about that for being hyper? Maybe a little coffee? Too much coffee? You know, I'm hyper and you're going to get it. How do you be hyper when you sleep most of the day and when you're not sleeping, take huge handfuls of edibles to go to sleep? You're constantly sedated. I mean, constantly sedated. How could one be anxious? So, I don't know. And 5, Karate Joe. Now Karate Joe. The King Mod. I didn't like you either. Even Chantal didn't like Karate Joe, I don't think. I think he was like the useful idiot that she had in the chat. He was kind of a bulldog. He would try to steer the conversations in her chat. He'd been around a very long time. Karate Joe, if you could just... Please. So, you know, he was useful to her, if not a bit pushy. I thought he was pushy and controlling. Even so. And, like, why does she gravitate towards people like this? And then complain about them? Like, she gravitates towards people that are not kind and are pushy, and then gets upset when they're not kind and they're pushy. I don't see that part. So, yeah, and he had been a mod for the last little while. Now, I didn't like Joe, like I said. He talked down to people, even the VIPs, and then when she'd get rid of mods and she would get pissed, the first person she'd remod is Joe, and he would go in and clean house. There'd be about 5 people in there talking. So, excuse me. So Kiwi Farms, which we all know and love, and does some investigative work, we'll say, dug up info on Karate Joe. And he was doxxed, which doxing viewers seems weird. That's not the kind of thing that usually happens, but he's a very prominent part of her channel and has become more prominent because it's entirely chats. So as much as we see her every day, we see a lot of Joe every day. In the middle of the night chats, 3 o'clock in the mornings. I'm not even getting up at 3 in the morning to moderate my own chat. 3 o'clock in the morning? Who's up that late? Apparently Joe and Chantal. So, they gave away his full name, gender, race, age, height, and weight. He's 6'2" with 390. He's a big boy. And then also he has to lifetime register because he's in the sex offender registry program since 1999. Yeah, so did Chantal know? Did Chantal not know? I can't imagine. I think it's the kind of thing one would probably play close to their vest. But I don't think in the last over 20 years it's the kind of thing that would have got by her, or would have got by anybody else that they wouldn't have sent it to her at some point, or that she wouldn't have known. Let's just go with the fact that, let's say she didn't know. She knows now, she cut him off as a mod, and she doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. That's the next, I think, right thing to do. Okay, getting him as a mod was a bad decision, and if you knew and said nothing, that's a worse decision. Having it come out publicly and getting rid of him is the next best decision to make. If you had no idea and just found out now, again, good decision to make. Get him out, get away. You cannot gaslight that. Oh, sure, I had a mod for a long time and he was Chester the molester. But, you know, he seemed nice. You know, why do you surround yourself with these scummy men? I just don't get it. So, yeah, I don't have too much more to say about him, except he makes me fucking sick. So, where do we go from here? We are bringing Mark in at this point. Mark?
Yeah?
Could you come in here, please?
Yeah? Here?
I'm here. So, just brought Mark in for the end here. We're going to go over some conclusions, and he's going to weigh in a little bit, too.
Okay.
So, my conclusions is that this back and forth crap, she won't take anything serious, like anything, nothing taken seriously until something bad happens. However, as I'm going through the files, a lot of bad shit has happened already.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing has stopped her. She's ignoring everything and putting herself through unnecessary drama, but she likes drama. And in my opinion, drama is fighting on Twitter. It is not playing fast and loose with an abusive relationship.
Right.
And acting like it's soap opera drama.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I landed. What do you have as far as thoughts?
Well, again, there was not too much discussion about substance use this week. There was, but it wasn't so focused on that because of all of the other things that had happened. We absolutely have to keep in mind that this is all under the umbrella, so to speak, of substance use on her part and his part.
Yeah.
They're both still actively using. As a matter of fact, I mean, she even said it. These are out of her mouth. I am mostly high on weed or whatever when I am on a live stream. Didn't she just say last week she was off of all the whatevers? I mean, she is still actively using. Okay, they are both still actively using. So it's going to color everything that happens in her life. Everything. Not just this and that. It's going to affect everything. It's not surprising that all this stuff happened this week. It's not surprising that she has, you know, types of people around her that are unsavory, Karate Joe and Nads or whatever, you know, it's not surprising, you know, more so inside, you know, her self-worth and her self-esteem and the way she views herself is rock bottom, and the substance use is going to continue to make that worse.
Yeah.
So the decisions are going to continue to get worse. Vlogtober, that's not going to happen.
No,
I mean,
I give it 6 days, but that's
know,
generous.
It's not going to
maybe.
happen. She'll start saying like, well, lives count, and no, they don't. Lives do not count for Vlogtober. They don't. In our world, I guess they will.
We stole the kitty.
You know, we were like blessed to have a video. We were blessed. I was shocked. I hadn't seen the intro in so long.
11:55. You know.
I know. So okay. Now on that, you know, this is a video that she said she's been planning for weeks and weeks, and put other people, you know, on the back burner so she could plan it. And it was a 12-minute themed video, themed around The Shining. You know. So, you know, there's that. I'm getting off track here. Okay. So, but yes, I mean, all this is
quite easy.
There's changes in behaviors. In one live stream, she is like almost half normal. She goes off, comes right back on an hour later in another live stream, and she's, you know, you can't understand a word she's saying. She's slurring her words. I'm so tired. Da, da, da. And then in the next minute, hyperactive, running around, da, 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 you know. People know that she is still actively using, and people are starting to leave her and not support her anymore, you know, as evident in some community, whatever, you know, like replies and comments. And
even
Annie
like
P
took the dive and was
she
like,
did.
I can't. I said last time
and
I can't.
Totally understand why. I mean, I understand it's very difficult to watch when you've been let down so many times as a viewer, when you've been manipulated and lied to, and, you know, you reach a certain point where you're just like, no, I'm not doing it anymore, you know? I mean, it's just the way that it is, you know? And my last point is that, you know, she is the ever victim all the time. It is always somebody else's fault. She puts the blame on somebody else for the mess that is her life.
Yeah.
You know, she blames it on reactors. That's the number one. The reactors. That's why her life is so miserable.
Yeah.
And her audience. Like, let's keep in mind that she has the ability to stop all of this.
Yeah.
She does not have to interact, you know? She does not have to keep fueling the fire, so to speak. You know, she can, with a touch of a button, stop all of this.
Yeah.
But she chooses not to. You know, my advice to her, and I know, you know, no one's asking for my advice, but if I was working with somebody in my office that was going through this, my advice to her would be to stop YouTube. Stop going on these live streams, stop YouTube, and take care of your life. Get yourself together, because it's not going to end pretty. We're already seeing the downward. It's going to continue to happen now, and it's going to continue to get worse and worse. We've had police.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to rehash all that. We've had so much stuff happen in the last week that was like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
And as this gets normalized, like,
right,
that's
my
the cops were here again.
I know.
That's not most people's life.
No, it's not. And that is my point of she's still on drugs. It's almost become a normal thing that this is how she is. She was not like this prior to this. Yes,
no,
she was still lied. She still manipulated.
But it wasn't about pizza.
I know. It wasn't like this. It was not like this.
So,
you know, it's normal for these behaviors now. And I just don't want everybody to get complacent and be like, okay, this is, you know, this is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not. This is not normal, and this is not going to end pretty at all. Now, I know getting your life together, stopping YouTube might seem drastic or hard to do, but there are people out there that would help with this. There are professionals out there that will help. When I give somebody advice in my office, it's not like, that's what you need to do. Bye. I help facilitate these changes.
Let's find somebody for you.
What can we do? Let's work on this in small steps. She's done nothing at all, except make light of all of this, drag us all into it. You know, I am trying not to use the word unfortunate. It's a damn shame.
It's lousy.
It's lousy. It is. And, so I really hope she can get it together, on again, off again relationships that are abusive.
In every way.
In every way. In every way. Quote from her. It's unfortunate, but so that's basically my 2 cents this week.
I got nothing.
I know I don't have anything either.
got
It's
nothing.
getting more and more difficult to keep
going
up with
into
this.
next week. Well, we should be seeing more videos.
We should have
Videos.
7 videos by this time.
We should be
next
covering
week.
videos and probably live streams. She's not going to give up those.
No, she won't give.
But
those
she's
up,
not
no.
going to invest her time in too much about YouTube either. She just kind of punches the clock.
No. If it took her 2 weeks to make that video yesterday, we're not getting many more videos.
Oh, please. In 2 weeks? Do you know what kind of video I can make in 2 weeks?
I know.
God. And I'm not even that good at it.
No, we're not. We're a small channel. We're not.
No.
But
if you stack together all of us small channels against 1 or 2 of these big boys, there's more of us than them.
yeah,
There's plenty
I could
more
say
of us
that,
than
yeah.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have lives outside of YouTube,
Mhm.
too.
Yeah,
So,
we do. And I think that's another one of her, big problems. Her life is YouTube. She has nothing going on outside of YouTube that we know, and I can't see her doing anything else. I can't see her leaving her house for anything. I mean,
No. And when the phone gets
it's a
shut off, she
shame.
doesn't leave her room.
Yeah,
So.
it's a shame. It's a shame.
Well, warm well wishes to Chantal, even if she doesn't deserve them. Because I guess we all deserve 800 chances. So,
I guess. I mean, where do we get to a point where, like, it's normal and not serious to not only be in an abusive relationship, but publicly promote it?
I know.
Like, I just don't know.
Or-
Along with the drug use.
whatever. Well, at any rate, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
We'll wrap up here. Thank you all for watching. Going into next week, your guess is as good as mine. Last week, I predicted anything from a wedding to a PFA. We might have got a PFA. Actually, we got some police action, so we'll see going into next week. I am not optimistic, but we are supposed to get some videos. That's something to look for. I think we're going to get lives too. More Nader drama, Nader, Nads, whatever he goes by. Drama with him, so we'll see where that goes to. And, I don't know. She's going to have consequences lining up. Things are getting bit by bit coming out. Natter's exposing a few untruths that were coming out. He also mentioned her car accident, which he said she was coked up when she had. And she said a fender bender's not an accident. Well, what is it? I'll wait. So there's other stuff that's going to start piling out and coming out in the future, I think, too. So we shall see. I'll be here. I hope you're here for it, by the way. This is our Halloween t-shirt because we are doing Vlogtober, but it's SmokeySteveAndMarc season. We'll be doing some contests and giving those away. So if you stop by for any of our other content, definitely feel free to stop by. See if you can get yourself one of those, too. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the thumbs up and the notification bell so you get alerts when we have new videos and also when we go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Our email address and our contact information is all listed below as well. Thank you again, and we will be going live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Every Sunday we go live at 6 p.m. It's usually a good conversation. We have good mods. It's pretty chill. Relatively drama free. and we like it that way. So if you're free, feel free to stop by. Okay, thanks for watching. Mark, say bye. Bye.